it was my squad's rotation to be QRF. And the way the QRF works is you have the vehicles lined up at 6 a.m. because that's when missions are supposed to start. And you can pretty much unload all non-essential equipment like at 6 p.m., because that's when it's dark and that's when the mission's ended. So we had the vehicles lined up, ready to go. 6 o'clock comes around and, we unloaded, like our nods and our weapons, but the vehicles are still ready to go. So I'm in the hooch, sleeping, and First Sergeant Tucker walks in, and he's like, "Ross, get your ass up, get your squad. We got a bird down." What? We have a bird down? He goes, "Yes, there's a fucking bird down. Get your shit, head up to the donut." The donut is the place where all the operations started. It's right next to the battalion headquarters, and that's where they could brief everybody. So I was like, "Top, could you get Willie and Archibald?" So within 2 minutes, 3, 4 minutes, whatever it was, we had the squad ready to go. And we were up there within 5 minutes. Apparently, and I did a lot of research on this, a RPG had hit a Black Hawk helicopter, erupting a fuel cell, and crash landed in downtown Mogadishu. So this incident on September 25th, and this is like 2 a.m. in the morning on the 25th, was actually the first Black Hawk that was ever shot down in Mogadishu. So maybe the original Black Hawk down? I don't know, but whatever. So since I'm attached to 214, the order of movement was the AT platoon, which had, I think, 3 or 4 vehicles, 3 or 4 or 5 tons full of grunts and, whatever. And then my 2 vehicles were pulling rear security. So back then, you can't trust a map of Mogadishu because they would just build shit in the middle of the road, whatever. So we were being guided by a helicopter, and they didn't get word, so they passed the turn off to the crash site. And it just so happened that my first vehicle was right there to take the turn. So Colonel David walks up to me and he goes, "Sergeant Rossman, the bird's down that way." I think he said like 300 meters, whatever the fuck it was. Go get him, or secure the crash site. And I was like, "Is there any friendlies alive?" And he said something like, "Everybody there is either expected to be captured or dead." I was like, "Okay, so." Oh, hold on, let me back up a little minute here. As soon as the convoy left the gate, green tracers were going overhead. The Somalis would use the green tracers to let people know that's the way they're coming. So we're like, "What the fuck is the green tracers for?" And that the Somali militiamen are letting us know they're going that way. So as soon as we turned that left to go off whatever the fuck road we were on, going to the crash site, you start seeing tracers go that way. The green tracers, which is kind of odd, but as soon as we get about 100 meters, we start getting shot at. Nothing really effective, just fucking shots towards us because we can hear them, the fucking whizzing. And Archibald, who was, he placed 3rd all Army M60 gunner like 5-6 months prior. So if I needed anybody to shoot something with accuracy, it was that motherfucker right there, Brett Archibald. He's like, "Ross, I'm getting shots. I can see the muzzle flashes. Can I shoot back?" I go, "If you can see the muzzle flashes, shoot." So he was doing very well, just like a, world-class machine gunner would. Brop, brop, brop. Shots are going over. A couple RPGs went someplace. And I didn't know it then. I only learned this a couple months ago, was that some of 214 back there was being engaged by a technical. Back then, they were called technicals. They had machine guns on the back of a pickup truck, and they were, RPGs. So some of the RPG shots I heard may have been them, but we had RPGs being shot near us. I say near. I mean, it's dark outside. You're looking through a pair of PVS 7s that are a piece of crap. 50 meters, 100 meters, whatever it was. So there's explosions going off, RPGs going off. We're dismounted at the time because we're doing the classic dismounted infantry first on the sides, vehicles back a little bit so they can protect. So the dismounted infantry can protect the vehicles, and the vehicles can, shoot. Just classic infantry tactics. And there was something in the road. I was like, what the fuck is that? Because it was kind of round. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, hopefully it's not a head. It just so happened to be one of the crew members' helmet from when they crashed. He was on fire, so he just fucking tossed it, and that's what I found in the middle of the road. So we go forward a couple more meters, and you can see the rotors. You can see the burning of the trash. It was still on fire. So I found the crash site. The Lieutenant Colonel David wanted me to secure the crash site. I have 9 people, 2 vehicles. I don't know where anybody is behind me. So the way the crash site is split up is going north. You have north and south. You have a road, just a big, say like a big 3-lane highway, just fucking, probably not 3 lanes. Let's say 2 lanes, going north and south. And where the bird was another 2-lane road going east and west. And it was in the intersection. And about 50 meters back from the crash site was an alley. Alleyway, probably not much bigger than, 2 people abreast could fit through it. But it was a egress route where people could come into the crash site. I had 1 vehicle stay at the crash site, or not at the crash site, but at that alley, because we can't have them coming behind us, and they would split the friendly forces, which would not be any good. So I had 1 vehicle guarding that the alleyway, and the other vehicle was north. Just if the north and west roads were like this, they were right there in that intersection, just a little bit out of it, and they can secure the crash site. They can see people coming in. They can control people. They can control everything. So I had my 6 o'clock secure and the 12 o'clock secure. Not ideal by any means, but combat being combat, that's the best I could do. That's what I had. I couldn't have anybody coming up behind us. We can control the crash site. So we secure the crash site. Still taking some pop shots. The gunners are returning fire. Very controlled. Nothing like, just fucking going nuts. Couple RPGs come in, but nothing, once again, you can't really tell, but through nods. Could have been 50 meters, could have been 100 meters. Who knows? So the crash site is secure. Fast forward about 2 hours, and it starts to get daybreak. Daybreak, they start playing the prayer call, and the vehicle that was the most north vehicle guarding the intersection was right next to a mosque. Colonel David said, you can let people in the mosque, because, we have to let them in, but you need to make sure they don't have any weapons. So it was quick and easy. They don't wear a lot. We only patted down maybe 12 people. Most sane people are staying away from there because they're still shooting. We're still sporadically shooting. Since it's daybreak, we're letting people in the mosque. The friendly forces are starting to filter forward. I bump my lead squad just north of the intersection. So now they're responsible for, if the crash site's here, they're responsible for the road going east and west and north and south. Well, north anyway, not necessarily south, because south is covered by the other squad or the other team. Everything's secure. They start the body recovery.